Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Meshi TV. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. In today's video, we are going to be pulling a few tarot and oracle cards to find the word of the week. If you are brand new to this series, we just started this not too long ago. I wanted to start using some of my oracle decks that I have here because I'm just having way too much fun with it. And I wanted to sort of pick a theme each week that can sort of I can use that in a really mindful way that can sort of guide me during the week, especially if I'm having a harder week or if I'm having, one of those weeks where I could use a little bit of extra guidance. I think that we can all use a little bit of extra guidance personally. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And if you are brand new and you love videos just like this one, please let me know in the comments, and you can subscribe and you can hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every single time that I release a new video. But for now, why don't we just dive right in? Okay, first and foremost, I wanted to really just light some Palo Santo because I haven't actually had a chance to sort of reset the energy, and in all fairness, I just look for any excuse to light this beautiful wood up. Oh, if you've never tried Palo Santo, you absolutely should, because it smells stunning. So you can use smoke, you can also use sage. I do have sage here. I have to be really careful with using sage only because it's so potent that in my office everything will smell like sage. And if you're wondering, I will just go through each of the decks that I will be using. I'm using the Everyday Witches Tarot, the mini. So I'll give you a little close-up. There we go. I will insert them also right here, right next to me. The next deck, the Oracle deck that I will be using is from Moonology. This is from Yasmin Boland. And we have the Angel Prayers from Kyle Gray, which is also one of my favorites. It's so funny that based on your mood, that will sort of determine which deck you will use or which deck you're drawn to. Sometimes it takes me a minute to sort of, get situated and find out which one it is. And last but not least, obviously, we're going to be using the spirit animal, because I have been actually using the spirit animal deck once a week, where I would pull a card that will be sort of the underlying energy that I would try to embody, understand. Well, since we're here, why don't we cleanse the crystals too? So hopefully you guys had a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend, and energetically you're survived this past weekend, because for me it was a doozy. It really was. Okay, why don't we get started without going too much into detail. Okay, where do we begin? Oh, and the main question that I wanted to ask is, what do we need to release this week for our highest good? What do we need to release? Okay, we have the beaver. So it looks like our animal of the week will be the beaver. And let's see what we actually need to release this week in order for us to move forward, move ahead, I guess, move forward, get into our higher self and get in touch with our higher self, or embody a certain version of us. What do we need to sort of release? What do we need to leave behind? Which is actually quite fitting. I'm going to double check the exact date, but we are heading towards the full moon. So you might want to actually start thinking about, you know, what do you want to release?
Okay, Beaver. Like, even without me looking this up in the book, when I think of a beaver, I think of animals that are really wanting to sort of create community. They're very hardworking. They kind of embrace family because they kind of work together as a group. So here's what the book has to say. So they're hard worker, loyal, tireless, and family first. The beaver personality is a welcome sight. These good-natured and dependable creatures have infinite love and enthusiasm for family and express it by the way of the earth element, providing a home, financial stability. Although a beaver doesn't usually initiate a project once started, they work for weeks, months, or years to see it through. The beaver card appears when the task at hand requires your long-term steady effort, and it can also signify that it's time for some karma yoga, so some selfless service. When in balance, it's happy and meaningful work, and when it's out of balance, it's feeling useless or worn out. So when we're actually talking about what do we need to release in order for us to move forward, I kind of think of that energy of just feeling lack, or feeling like you don't have enough, or feeling like you should have more, you know, feeling like you're disconnected from family, you're disconnected from the community, and maybe some of you might be feeling that. So if we can kind of learn to release a little bit of that by moving into service, I think that will help us. You might kind of take this two ways. So I'm kind of giving you a few different ideas that you can use to sort of formulate your own word of the week. Obviously, I'm going to give you a few keywords that I think is going to be really relevant, because for some of you, it might just be a reminder to embrace family in your community more. And for some of you, it might just be to get out of your head in thinking that you live in lack, or that, you know, that you don't have enough, or that people don't care about you, and really start connecting back when you're finding ways that you are abundant, when you find ways, or when you're open your eyes up and you acknowledge in so many ways that you are supported by community. So that's sort of my take from that. Now let's talk about tarot and from the oracle cards. I think that the way that this is sort of looking is that the tarot is sort of telling us what to release, and the two oracle cards are sort of a happy reminder of sort of what we're allowing to come in. So we have the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups is all about balance, all about bringing things into balance. Like if you think of a table, it needs to have four legs in order for it to stand, to create stability. Now, when we're talking about stability, and the cups obviously speak of emotions, so it's almost like we're moving into that space where we need to release something in order for us to bring that emotional balance back. And when you're looking at the image, there's a guy sitting at a table with 3 different cups, and he's like, why don't I have more? But he's not really, he's just sort of looking at it. It's almost like looking at the cup half empty. You know what I mean? Like, you probably have met people like that in your life, when you feel like no matter what happens and you see how extremely abundant they are, or how extremely fulfilled they could get, or how much they have, they're still not fulfilled. They're still not seeing what you're seeing. They're not seeing their life through your eyes because you're so focused on the problem. So perhaps this might be a reminder that we need to kind of detach from that idea of just the more you're looking at the problems, the more you're going to solve your problem. And I mean, if you're thinking about problems in general or emotional upsets in your life, you know you can't look at that for far too long, because if you do, it's not really going to fix it. I do believe that you need to have the courage to look at whatever is upsetting you, but then at some point you also need to kind of detach, take a couple steps back, and then kind of reevaluate, create almost like a game plan in order for you to move forward. And I think that that's very important, because like his son is bringing in another cup and he's still like, oh my gosh, the crops are like not working out, or you know, why, like, where's the tablecloth? We need to go to IKEA. Or where are my keys? Well, they're on the wall. Ugh, why is it on the wall? You know what I mean? So I mean, you probably get my point. I will show you a picture so that you understand what I'm saying. And then we have two cards that are, to me, when I'm looking at both of them, they're very much about encouragement and very much about just, this is what you kind of need to embrace. So the first card we have is Earth Angel. So when we're talking about Earth Angels, they inspire you to, it's almost like the angels are asking you to connect back to the earth. So perhaps like maybe something is bugging you, and then you need to kind of connect back to nature, connect back to your true nature, really. So perhaps when we're looking at like what do you need to release, you need to kind of look deep within of what your true nature is, and perhaps you need to actually spend some time outdoors in nature in order for you to reconnect back to that. Find your element, guys. If you're drawn to water, maybe you need to spend more time around water. Or if your element is earth, then perhaps you need to go into the forest. Or if your element is air, then you need to, I don't know, maybe you need to find newer heights in order for you to kind of feel reconnected back to your true nature. Because if you're not, then you're always going to feel like you're being somehow shortchanged. And at every single situation, you have the opportunity to sort of create what you want. And then the last one is luck is on your side. This is the new moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is all about adventure, new adventure, very enthusiastic. I kind of think of Sagittarius as like my Irish setter, very happy-go-lucky, up for adventure at any moment. And if you're able to sort of lean in and trust that, it's sort of like just asking yourself, I guess, the question of what would you do, how would you act differently if you knew that you couldn't fail? And I really love that quote, because that sort of reminds us of this energy of like, if you know that you're in that phase of your life when you're manifesting, then perhaps, you know, maybe it's time to trust that. What would you do if you knew that you really couldn't fail? And if you do fail at the whatever you're trying, it's still okay. Like, you're still going to be okay, and you're still going to survive, you know. But I really like this energy of like, this is what we need to release, this idea of we live in lack. We need more in order for us to be happy and fulfilled, and we need to work very hard. And if we don't, or we need to work hard in the name of family or in the name of community or whatever, and because if we don't, then we're always going to miss out, I guess. That, you know, that, or you could kind of take this message as, you know, luck has everything to do with it, and if you don't have luck on your side, then you're always deemed to be a failure. In reality, most of us know that whatever you want to manifest, the very intention in itself is very, very strong, and if the more you reconnect to that energy, the more you're able to start manifesting what you want. But you also have to start taking action towards what you want. So I will give you guys a few keywords of what I think can be, to me, honestly, it's almost like the word of the week can be really summed up in one word, which is embrace abundance. Well, it's two words. It's either you take abundance or embrace abundance, or faith, which faith kind of takes takes it away from this idea that luck is on your side, like you need to be lucky in order for you to be happy and fulfilled, or you can, any one of those will be, I think, totally accurate, or you need to find your true nature, which is kind of what I like about this card. So I'll give you guys a few different ideas, but I would love to know what your word of the week is. This is such an interesting spread, you guys. I really love it. And each week is so different. Like, it's, you can't even make this up. This is all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. And just friendly reminder, you guys, you're so much more powerful than you think. So keep shining your light. And I will see you guys again in my next video.